Hello, welcome back to the Everything is Black and White podcast. I'm Andrew Musgrove, joined by Sam Mulliner for the latest episode of the Mulliner and Musgrove Show. This week, we are going to predict how many points Newcastle United will get by the time the next international break comes round. Of course, we are currently in, what is it now, the second international break of the season already. But we're going to look ahead to the November one and hopefully be predicting Newcastle United with a boat full of wins. But first things first, Sam, welcome back. You well?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. Busy, but yeah, I'm good. And last week, we predicted 2 wins, and that's what we got. And they were. Well, the Union was a fantastic win and performance. Forest was a little bit more scrappy, particularly in that first half, but our quality showed through in the end.
Certainly did. And it didn't really matter how Newcastle United beat Forest, as long as they did and went into this international break in good spirits. Thoughts on this international break, Sam? Too fussed about it?
I hate it, but it's no different. We're well accustomed to them now. But yeah, it's come at the wrong time for us, or has it? Because injury news have mixed. I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, but Wissa looks like he's out for an extended spell. Crumb of comfort about Tino Livramento's injury, what I was really concerned about. But when you see a player going off in tears on a stretcher, you'd probably take 8 weeks. Let's be clear about it. And bit good about Lewis Hall as well, but I suppose Dan Burn going left back allows Sven Botman to come in, and that allows us not to play with the back five, I suppose, and still incorporate Botman in alongside Chow, who now, after having a relatively slow introduction to the team, has looked fantastic. There's no two ways about it. And all of a sudden, Fabian Schär's got a real game on his hands to get back into the starting 11.
Certainly has, but we're all for that competition. It's exactly what a good side is built upon. We are praying that Voldemort gets through this international break without injury. He is going to join up late to the German national squad because he's got flu-like symptoms. So he's going to miss Luxembourg, I believe, but should be all right for the game against Northern Ireland, which, of course, you can just hop on a plane and as soon as you're up, you're down, really. And Anthony Gordon, he's in the England squad, isn't he? So, I mean, if you're looking at those who've been called up, Voldemort is a little bit different because we would much prefer to be on Tyneside and wrapped up in cotton wool because he's our only senior striker. But then you say, well, actually, he's scoring goals. The best way to keep his confidence going is by him scoring goals for Germany, where it's not gone particularly well for him in recent games. Same with Anthony Gordon in many ways, because he's missed so much football with that suspension. And against Forest, there was small glimpses, but nothing to write home about. You want him to have at least one outing for England where he can get the fitness and the legs, and that can be a massive benefit for Newcastle United if he has a good time away with England and, of course, comes back injury-free.
Yeah, that seems to have been the case as well with Tuchel, and the same will probably be with Dan Burn as well, that they'll play one game and sit out the other. Yeah, Voldemort needs to be looked after. It was good to see him almost make it through 90 minutes against Forest after coming off that Saint-Gilloise game as well. And yeah, the only kind of one that's a little bit miffing really is the two Brazilian lads, Bruno and Jolinton, having to go to Japan and South Korea for friendlies. That's not ideal. Sandro Tonali is an absolute machine. He was probably robbed of the man of the match against Union. Although it was good to see Elanga progress somewhat. Didn't really kick on against Nottingham Forest, so his start to his Newcastle career is still a little bit iffy. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's just that trip for the. But obviously, South America, it's always going to be a long haul flight wherever they play. But yeah, hopefully they all come back unscathed, because it just feels now that our season is up and running.
It certainly does. And you made the excellent point about, has it come at the wrong time? Has it come at the right time, this international break? Well, I suspect by the time the next one comes around, which is what we're about to focus on, we definitely won't want it, because I'm hoping that Newcastle United have picked up a ton of points. They do have, let me get the numbers right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games from the end of this international break to the next one, which runs from the 6th of November until the 10th of November to the 18th of November, should I say. This one is the 6th of October to the 14th. So yeah, so we're focused on the games from the return. The first game will be Brighton all the way through to Brentford at the G-Tech on the 9th, and then that's when the break comes in from the 10th to the 18th. Right. Shall we begin?
Okay.
Yeah. So Brighton away. Horrible place for Newcastle to go.
Oh, God, it's about time we won there. My word, it is about time we won there. I went there last season where we got given 3 penalties, 2 of which were rescinded, and we scored 1. Can't remember the goal scorer that day. But yeah, we got a point which was crucial in the end. But yeah, it's about time we won there. And I think we can go and win there. Obviously, I'm kind of preempting that everyone does make it back unscathed from international duty. It wouldn't be a surprise if there was an odd mishap. But Brighton, you just never know what you're going to get with them. They beat Chelsea, who is more or less their parent club these days. And then they really struggled to get past Wolves. It was a late equaliser, wasn't it? So you just don't know what you're ever going to get from them. We've got a horrendous record against them. Wins against them have been fairly sparse. However, when they have arrived, it's mainly been since Eddie Howe took over. Yeah, to think we've not won there since. I mean, we had to score the best goal of all time from Mo Diarme, capably assisted by Christian Atsu, God rest him. But to think we've not won there since, it's about time we won there. So I think this, and due to a little bit of a slow start, and we've got to recover points that we've dropped, I think this is our time. I'm going for 3 points.
Look at that. I would love a win because nasty records are always there to be rewritten. But my one concern is Brighton's pace up against Dan Burn potentially at left back. And I think if it's Minter versus Dan Burn or whoever it might be, that could be a big weak link. So I'm not as confident as you. As hopeful you could say, because I'm really hoping they do win that game. I just don't know. I would have liked to have gone into that game on Saturday coming. You know, if you could allow me to pick a stadium and a club to face away from home, it kind of would have been the Amex if I could have that game this Saturday coming, because we have that momentum with the last 2 wins. But with a 2-week break, I don't know. It's just one of those stadiums, isn't it? I'm going to go for a point. Okay, go for a point.
Chicken. Although I take your point, Dan Burn had some hairy moments in that first half against Forest.
Yeah, he did, and obviously you mentioned Lewis Hall at the start. I mean, he's definitely not going to be back. No Tino Livramento for that game, so you know it will be Dan Burn. He will come through unscathed from England duty because he's just an absolute warrior. But as I said on the Monday show, you think back to those games when he played left back consistently, and there was a period of time when we said this has to be his last game there. He's got to come out, and he would step up and prove us all wrong. So he'll probably shut us both up.
Yeah, I mean that was statistically our best ever defensive record in the Premier League as well, wasn't it? So let's not get too bogged down about him playing there.
No, but we'd rather Lewis Hall, wouldn't we? But fair play to Danny stepping up and hopefully can continue what has been a great couple of seasons. Then it's Benfica in the Champions League, the return of an old favourite, shall we say, the man that some romantically would love to see in the dugout at St James's Park for Newcastle United. I would hate it, but Jose Mourinho back at Benfica. What are you thinking about that one?
In terms of Mourinho managing Newcastle one day, I think that time has come and gone. I'm afraid he's missed the boat. Home win. Has to be. We have to capitalise and kick on, and back-to-back home matches in the Champions League now following that win at Union. Yeah, has to be. You have to now go on and win. We have to win all of our remaining home games in that group stage to have any chance to progress. And yeah, it just has to be. It'll be narrow. It'll be close. It'll be very close. But Jose hasn't got the best record at St James's Park, so he'll be left staring at Sir Bobby on his way out of the stadium on his Benfica bus.
Well, fingers crossed it's not a happy visit for him. But Benfica are a threat. They are they're in the Portuguese top flight. Obviously, Mourinho is just trying to find his feet at the club. I mean, his time over in Turkey didn't particularly go well. And for me, he's kind of yesterday's man, which definitely means he's going to turn up and hammer Newcastle in this game. But yeah, I mean, hopefully never, ever, ever manages Newcastle United. But just the way it's gone at Man United, Fenerbahce, I mean, Benfica seems like the right kind of job for him, returning to the club after 25 years. And he will come into this one probably in the same way as Newcastle look at it, eyeing it up as a must win in many ways if you are indeed going to progress to the next stage.
Yeah, it just has to be. I'm not as disrespectful to Jose Mourinho as you are. He's an absolute legend. Yeah, it would have been very romantic were he to have managed us, but he didn't want to manage us in the past when things weren't going well. So he's got no right to just walk in there now things are going well. And Eddie Howe continues to do a tremendous job, and I'm very happy that we have him. So yeah, I'm a Jose Mourinho fan. I love that that relationship with Sir Bobby that he has, and the way he holds Sir Bobby in just such high esteem. But yeah, I hope he has a real torrid time and we get the win over Benfica.
I'm not a Jose Mourinho fan. I like the respect he has for Sir Bobby in Newcastle United. That I like, but him as a manager, I think it just becomes all about him.
I think the moment you go to Spurs, you're saying that's pretty much me done. Just for a guy of his ilk, who's managed the biggest teams on the world stage, and then you go and manage Spurs and look where he's been since. Yes, Roma are a very good team, but they're not the side they were in the early 2000s. Going to Turkey, going back to Portugal, it's you're on the downward spiral then, aren't you, really?
Yeah, all pray for Thomas Frank. I do remember Benfica coming to St James's Park 2013. Cisse scored a late header, but Newcastle were knocked out.
Yeah.
League 4-2 on the overall score. Hopefully we'll have a better time of it this time around. Won't be easy as you say, but yeah, I mean, I'll go for 3 points. I think the need is there, but we've also got the squad and the players to do it. And St James's Park built for nights like for that. So fingers crossed they can do it. Then it would be Fulham next up in the Premier League. A team which is a little bit hit and miss. You feel like when it all clicks, they're not too bad of a team to watch, and they probably should be in the conversation for Europa Conference, but it always seems to tail off. They're a very stuttering kind of club. I mean, you're at home. You've got to be winning this game, haven't you?
Oh, last season against Fulham was just absolutely demonic. Went to both games, home and away, and they battered us both times. And we went 1-0 up at home. Yeah, but again, before last season, our record against them was absolutely superb. We were battering them at one point, home and away. We need to get back to that. But yeah, this is a big up. Like when you compare results to last season in a kind of thing where you think, well, what will be enough to sort of re-qualify for the Champions League this time around? And you think, where can we improve on our points tally from last season? Obviously, we've dropped some points in comparison to last season against Liverpool and Arsenal. So this has got to be one where we look to kind of get back on track. Again, any result in that fixture wouldn't surprise me. But again, I'm going to go home win. We've got to start winning our home games, and I think it'll be similar to that of the game against Forest, that it could be very, very scrappy. Fulham will probably get on the score sheet where Forest faltered, but yeah, I think we'll just about grind it out. Just.
I think if you watch that Bournemouth game on Friday, you can see where their weak links are. You know, if you hit them and you're direct with it, then they can't really handle it. They are a threat, but Newcastle United should have more than enough to get by them. Again, like you, I think it'll be scrappy, but I am going to go for 3 points, and that would lead us nicely into the fourth round of the Carabao Cup. We face Spurs at home, and when this was drawn, I was like, doesn't fear me. I'm not scared of that. But actually, I don't know whether it's just because I've not been paying enough attention to the Premier League. You know, they're not doing too bad under Thomas Frank at all. Still very much a team in transition. I mean, it's not been perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they are third in the Premier League. Obviously, they're a threat. They've got fantastic players. The manager's great. But again, you know, if you've got ambitions to be the very best, if you want to retain your title like you won last season, i.e. the Carabao Cup, you win this game, right? Ooh, that was a
no, because this is going to be the game where rotation is happening.
Okay.
So it'll be Ramsdale in goal. You might see Asula. You might see Lascelles. You might see Kraft. You might. I'm not saying you will. You might. If it was away, I'd be concerned. I like Thomas Frank. I think he's doing a real good job there, and it's a sort of different Tottenham now than when I mentioned before about when Jose Mourinho went there, when it was, you know, Spursy Spurs, you know what I mean? But again, they've got a monkey off their back last season, albeit to the detriment of their Premier League performance. But I like Thomas Frank, whereas he's not a manager on the kind of downwards slope. He's building and building and building, coming off the back of a stellar job at Brentford, and he's ambitious, he's hungry. I think he's a really good manager, and he's started off really well there with Spurs. I think they're going to be right up there come the end of the season, because like I say, it's a different Tottenham than when Mourinho went there, when Conte went there. I think we'll just about scrape it. Wouldn't surprise me if it went to penalties. It really wouldn't. I think it'll be close because I think there is that element of rotation there. It is a possibility that we get knocked out, but because of that rotation, and which is a necessity, by the way, that rotation is not a criticism. It has to happen, as we've seen already. Yeah, I think we go through on pens.
I could see that. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how serious Spurs are taking it. What is Thomas Frank's priority when it comes to Tottenham? Is it going well in the league? I mean, given how close the top of the table looks, and of course it might look very different by the time these games comes around, but he could well decide that actually I'm going to focus on the Premier League and play a very weakened side. I think with Eddie Howe, he'll play as strong as possible side in terms of the fitness of everybody. Obviously, there was a lot of games coming, but I still think it'll be a very, very strong side. And like, yeah, I'm back them to get through, but I don't think it'll be comfortable. And I actually don't think any of the games that we've got on this list will be comfortable at all. I think
No.
not really going to see Newcastle United dominate, and we go to games and we sit there and go, this is a brilliant watch. I don't think we'll get there until maybe mid-December, like we did last season when we went on that nice little run. Don't think it's going to happen in this list of games, but it could progress there. Then it's West Ham away, potentially. Johan Wissa's debut for Newcastle United. I can see you grimacing there, thinking it might be a little bit longer.
No, I hope it is. I hope it's before then. I really do, because again, we need him, and I think there's a real potential for him and Voltemade to play up top together, and that could be very exciting. But yeah, like I say, last week I've just got that niggling doubt at the back of my mind that 6 weeks is going to turn to 8, 8's going to turn to 12, 12's going to turn to end of the bloody season. You know, I hope that's not the case, but there's just something off in the back of my mind about that whole situation. West Ham away, they've been awful. Really awful. The one sort of crumb of comfort, Nuno's got a half decent record against us, but that record isn't as good as what it was, because we did all right against his Forest side. We didn't when he managed Spurs um, and Wolves, but it's a place where we've done all right when we've like. Always remember it because that scrappy 1-0 win there, the precursor to the cup final, which was vital for the time. We've smashed them there in the past, and we've had to take our medicine there as well. So I've gone for it. I mean, people sometimes accuse me of being negative, but I've had us to win every game so far, and I'm gonna have us to win this one as well.
I'm going to go for a point here, and I think I watching Newcastle United on the road. I've never been particularly fearful of the opposition, but I've just never really felt like they've been at their best, and it's whether they click by the time this game comes around, and it is a massively filled schedule. I mean, you're playing midweek. This is what top teams want. You want to be in every competition, but it's really going to test the legs here. And I just wonder whether West Ham. I don't know.
But
The way we played
I
before.
could be really happy going to West Ham and playing Lewis Miley in midfield, and and like we did. But the problem is, I take your point, is that every away game, and Brighton would tell us more. We've gone with a back five, and it's been 0-0. So that may have to change. It wouldn't surprise me if it didn't, because you could. I mean, who would play left wing back? That's the only kind of question. Trippier could obviously play right wing back. I don't know if we're that adept. If we could play, if it wouldn't really have that balance. We used to shove a Joe Willock there or a Jacob Murphy there. You get what I mean. I don't think we have that real capability of playing five at the back. Could you play Dan Burn and ask him to do a job up and down? I think that would be asking a lot. And then having Botman, Chow, and Cher as your three, it would certainly look uncomfortable. It's almost uncomfortable to talk about. But Brighton would tell us more, I think, whether or not that back five for away matches is going to maintain or be maintained. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, you'd be likely having Jared Bowen to deal with, wouldn't you, if you were at left back? So it's a big test, that. And if it is Dan Burn, he's going to have to be at his very best, because Bowen is one of the best around. I'll take a point there. I still think their away form and their performances, I still think it's a long way off where it needs to be. But if you can't win, then you take a point, and that's a good building block to take home with you. So I'll take a point. We go into the game against Bilbao next in the Champions League at home. Bonfire night. I'm missing that one because it's my wedding anniversary. Priority Sam.
Transfer your ticket over, mate. That's absolutely fine.
Don't have a ticket. Look with the ballots these days. Not that that's even open at the present point in time, but good luck if you're going to try. Currently, as we speak, 8th in La Liga. And again, it's one of those at home, under the lights. If you're going to progress, you have to be winning this game, really, don't you?
Yeah, they've got a good goalkeeper, one good centre half, and the Williams brothers. That's about it. They don't worry me whatsoever, to be honest. Which may be a touch too far, but on paper, I certainly think that this is sort of. There are no easy games in the Champions League. Yes, we won 4-0 the other week, but coming into that game, Union were looking really handy, and when you see the damage Club Brugge have done in the past 12 months as well, and obviously they beat them to the Belgian title, going into that game, it was a real tough ask. So there are no easy games for us in that campaign. We didn't get Kairat, we didn't get Paphos, but certainly out of the fixtures, them and PSV Eindhoven at home were the two not bankers, but ones that you should be winning. They've got a few handy players, really handy players, top players, but we have more, and we're at home, so this is a game we should win by a couple.
Fingers crossed you're right. I don't know.
You're going to take a point like you've done for every game.
No, I'm not done for every game. It is a game they need to be winning if they're going to progress. But yeah, my instinct was to put a point down, so I'll stick with a point. I can see your eyebrows have risen there substantially. I think with the games, I think obviously Eddie Howe has got a bigger squad and he can balance it better. Everyone's more experienced, but it's still a relatively new experience for some. And I just don't know where Newcastle United are at in terms of getting that balance right. I think as the season goes on, hopefully Newcastle's still in the competition, then we will see them kind of hitting that note. But I think with Eddie Howe, he's still getting used to having to balance the squad and having the players as well to rotate. Hopefully, by the time this game comes around, he knows exactly what he's doing and he's kind of used to it. Fingers crossed. But I mean, look, a point is what I'd take, and then it just means you've got to go to Leverkusen and pick up a win and make sure the other games you do indeed get a victory. That leads us into Brentford away. G-Tech.
Yeah. Again, a team that people keep writing off, including me. I think I've backed them for relegation pretty much every year since they've come up. So yeah, and especially when they hired Keith Andrews, I just thought they are just relegation fodder. Losing on Burmo, losing Visser eventually, Norgard as well shouldn't be underestimated. But now I just don't know. I'd go there. I'd want to win that game. Should be winning that game, but we should have been winning it last season and we didn't. And there's always goals in that game. So I might do a Musgrove and take a point.
Do you know what? A point wouldn't be the worst result. However, I can see them winning that game.
Of course you can.
Hey, we'll just take a collective mix. I mean, initially when I first wrote the fixtures down, I did have them down for a defeat. But it's. I mean, people can't accuse us of being negative because if we go for a point over a win, I mean, then go 7 games unbeaten in all competitions. In fact, it would be 9 games unbeaten in all competitions, right? So, they can't accuse us of being negative, maybe a little bit unrealistic, but we do say that when Eddie Howe's teams click, they click, don't they? You know, and for me, even with these run of games, I still wouldn't have them at their best, which excites me for what's to come. If I was going with my head, I did have it down as a defeat, but just to please you, I'll go for a win.
Oh, bless you. But this is it, though. We like last season, there was 2 of them, weren't there? On these amazing runs of wins and fixtures and just accumulation of points, as the former Blackpool manager once said. But, we've seen it in the past on many occasions, so there's no reason why we can't do it again with a healthier squad. Touch wood. Jacob Murphy still has a big role to play. Barnes still has good numbers. His performances haven't wholly been convincing, but his numbers still stack up to anyone. You want to see more of Lewis Miley. Willock is, in my opinion, playing for his future. Now PSR isn't an issue for the next season or 2. There's no reason why we shouldn't be looking at another midfielder in January. Depending on the situation with Visser as well, we could be looking for another forward as well. Yeah, so there is strength in depth there. Yes, we need to be a little bit wary and mindful of those injuries we've already got, because it's gutting, especially the 2 young fullbacks. don't want that happening again to them in a World Cup year, do we? But yeah, that's a shame. And we're asking a lot of Dan Burn. We're asking a lot of 35-year-old Kieran Trippier, who was outstanding against Nottingham Forest and Union. So yeah, that's the kind of one to bear in mind. Really, we could be targeted on those flanks, but we were always targeted when Dan Burn was left back, and he did an amazing job there. So who knows? It is going to be tough. I know I've predicted all those wins, but I don't take it lightly. That there could be some humps and bumps in the road. But we'll see. You know, I love the way Voltemada's started his career, showing all aspects of his game. Yeah, his feet was just sheer wizardry. His penalty was just utter filth, and yeah, we need to see these players play into form. I was really hopeful with Alanga. I thought I don't think he deserved man of the match, not because he was bad, but it was because I thought Tonali just was that tiny bit better, and he was just unbelievable. And he's the only player that hasn't really had a rest in the whole thing. He just keeps on going and going and going. You think, my word, you got to take him out and protect him at some point, but he's just whoa. He just keeps on excelling. New contract should be in the offing, and that's something that Hopkinson needs to look at. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be tough, but it's exciting, and this is where we want to be, fighting on all fronts.
Certainly. So I've got you down for 10 points then, over those games from the Premier League. You said 3 against West Ham, didn't you? Did you say a point? You said 3.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got 10 points coming up. Brighton win, Fulham win, West Ham win. That's 9, and a point against Brentford.
There are a lot of those games though that could go any which way, and you wouldn't be surprised.
You're damn right. It is 7 games in, if my maths is correct, 22 days. Is that right? Yeah.
But if you're winning matches, you know the ball keeps on rolling. Let's have it. If there are bumps in the road, that's where you can get found out and ground down a little bit. But you know, winning culture and all that. I have full faith in Eddie Howe and his team to go on another one of these amazing runs.
Yeah, and it's all about adrenaline and momentum and squad rotation and the beauty of that. I've got 8 points coming up in the Premier League with cup progress in the Carabao Cup, as Sam has. Sam's gone for 6 points in the Champions League against Benfica and Bilbao at home, where I've gone for 4. Win against Benfica and a point against Bilbao.
Can I ask you what makes you worried about Bilbao and not Benfica? Because I would have Benfica as a slightly tricky game.
You know what? Fun enough, I was just thinking about that. I'd actually probably the way around, but I think a positive result against Brighton. I think the Mourinho saga and his record at Newcastle plays a bit of an element of it as well. And I just think by the time we get to Bilbao, you know, there's 1, 2, 3. I mean, 3 extra games have come. I just wonder whether the fitness levels will be severely tested by then. It's not necessarily a compliment to Bilbao, of course, you can't underestimate, but I think it's just about where it falls in that list of games. I mean, that would be the 6th game since the start of whenever we play Brighton. So, you know, it's a lot of games.
It is a lot of games, I suppose, to take your point. And if Nico Williams is fit, he's going to have a potential field day against a very tired Kieran Trippier. But I have all the faith in the world in Trips. I think he's still a top-class operator.
Yeah, no, I do as well. But like I said, it's more to do with just the packed-out schedule. But we will see. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully Newcastle United not only go unbeaten in these run of games up to the next international break, but win every single one of them. Get into the comments, tell us that we're being wholly unrealistic, and I will bite back at you when I get the chance to do so. Thank you very much.
And I won't read them.
Yeah, he does read them. He wants me to text him every time you message about Sam. I was going to say thank you very much for tuning in. I am going to say that, but I'm also going to point you to the podcast description box to take advantage of your NordVPN exclusive discounted offer, exclusive, ladies and gents, for our listeners and viewers of the Everything is Black and White podcast. You guys are really helping us out by signing up, and you get the benefit of it only being £2.30 for the basic plan per month and 4 months extra on that plan. But also, you get to stay safe while online. 1 subscription, 10 devices, brilliant value for money. And again, you stay safe online. So hit the link in the podcast description box and sign up. Thanks to Sam, as always, looking smug, as always, right there.
What do you mean, as always? That's just rude.
I mean, it's just an observation. You're a very happy guy and very confident within yourself, right? I mean,
what's wrong with that? Things are going well.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Tune into the Moda Super Series Darts live and free on Pluto TV. Can I plug that? Too late, just have.
You've done it. I don't know. I'll probably get wrong in a moment for it, but there we go. Thanks to Sam, as always. We'll catch you guys next week. Stay safe out there.